Good evening. Outcry from a bomb during their Soldier Field performance. Brian Boyer reports the audience got not only what it needed, but what it wanted. As Channel 2 news continues.
More than 75,000 cheering fans packed the Lakefront Stadium. They got what they wanted, Mick Jagger and the world's greatest rock and roll band. An outdoor performance like this one isn't just another concert, it's a social event, one of the ways we have a carnival. And like most celebrations, it includes for some too much alcohol and too much drugs. Angel dust hospitalized some, cuts and bruises injured others. At least 16 people were hurt, and 64 others were arrested for mostly minor charges, including streaking.
But there's a real God who loves you, man.
But there were clowns, too. Puppies, a lot of innocent fun. And music was the main event. One note of tragedy, a 27-year-old Indiana man died when he fell from a 15-foot-high wall at almost the same instant the Rolling Stones arrived. The day finally ended about 7. Then the party was all over, except for cleaning up the mess. Brian Boyer, Channel 2 News.
There is a base hit for Stearns. Klein chasing it down. And Stearns winds up on second.
Elliott Maddox made it 2-0.
Stearns on third. He's fast. And there's a base hit. That scores one.
After a single by Doug Flynn, Lenny Randall came up with 2 men on base.
Fly ball deep to right center. Way back there it is, off the wall. One run is in. Maxwell's waving another one in, and he scores.
Rick Bassetti lined the first pitch of the game past Ralph Garr for a double. Bassetti later scored on an infield out, and the Sox got only 3 hits off Clancy and his reliever, Mike Willis. It was 2-0 in the 8th inning when Rick Cerrone hit his first home run of the season for a little Toronto insurance. The Sox, now in 6th place, trail 5th place Minnesota by 2 1/2 games. Well, this was as close as the Sox got to home plate this afternoon. Alan Bannister probably had no business trying to score on this fly ball, and he's thrown out by Otto Velez. That ended the 8th inning, and the Blue Jays won it 3-0.
See the superstars shining bright. See the new shows that are hot. Things are happening every night. Come and see what we got. NBC us. NBC us this fall.
Major grasshopper infestations have broken out in eastern Colorado. It's too late to do much about it this year, but unless these lands are sprayed soon to prevent the insects from laying eggs, there will be even more of them next year. Earlier this week, Colorado Governor Richard Lamb toured the grasshopper-ravaged southeast part of the state and was told the insect count was running as high as 55 per square yard. Although the connection is not clearly known, grasshopper infestations are linked closely with droughts, a condition this part of the country has just emerged from. The drought kills many of the grasshopper's predators. Nobody will estimate the potential losses to farmers and ranchers, but 20 years ago, a similar plague resulted in losses of more than $60 million. Yesterday, Governor Lamb called a special session of the state legislature to ask for $3 million for a spraying program. Jim West for NBC News, Denver.
With Borg winning. This time, Jimmy Connors began the match, winning the first 2 games. Then he started downhill, losing his serve on the 3rd game with one of many unforced errors he made during the match. 14,000 fans at center court and a worldwide TV audience saw Borg wrap it up in the first set by running off 6 straight games. That drop shot did it there. In the second set, again it was 6-2 Borg. He won one game with an ace here that hit the chalk. Borg had 5 aces in the match. As Borg was winning, Chris Evert was looking on for Jimmy and watching him lose. Chris, of course, lost in the women's final. Connors led 2-1 in the third set. Borg, who matched Fred Perry's record of 3 straight Wimbledon titles, though, kept Connors in the backcourt and on the run, dominating him as few have done ever in Jimmy's career. The runaway victory for the Swede came when he broke Connors' serve one last time. 8th game, third set. The final tally, 6-2, 6-2, 6-3. Bjorn Borg said he played the best match of his life today. Few could argue, especially Jimmy Connors. Australian Ray Ruffles faced Fru McMillan and Betty Stova. As Billie Jean said later, she and Ruffles were plain outclassed by their opponents. King losing the duel here at match point with Stova. McMillan and Stova won in straight sets, 6-2 and 6-2.
Joan Kennedy admitted it publicly today. She's an alcoholic. The wife of Senator Ted Kennedy says she's been going to Alcoholics Anonymous and she hasn't had a drop to drink in the past year. Well, the Rolling Stones came to Chicago today and their fans packed Soldier Field. Rich Samuels and a new Center 5 camera crew got into the stadium, and here's their report.
We'd like to welcome you all to Chicago.
Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones in Chicago, and more than 70,000 fans crammed into Soldier Field. The teeming masses arrived in droves all morning. Some had spent the night, and others warned of the evils lurking inside.
You love the Rolling Stones more than you love God. You love that liquor more than you love God. You love that little harlot you run around with more than you love God.
And so it went, not the sort of thing you see every day. The show started at 11:30, but there was really only one thing this crowd wanted to see. This is how it ended. Can you believe it? Rich Samuels, New Center 5.
There's not much more we can say after that, except I'm Mike Jackson. Thanks for watching, and good night.
I know exactly what...
Garage jokes, funny because he's been living.
On Capitol Records and Tapes.
Available at all Playback and Venture stores and Sears.
A recently diagnosed manic depressive who's in the process of making a comeback after 5 long, lonely weeks of semi-retirement.